Alright, welcome back. Part 2 of the video, the mini series trying to start up the Citroën DS. When you want to start a car that has not been running for a long time, you need to check for a few things. Number one, you need to check for fuel delivery. Is the fuel getting into the carburetor or the injection system? You need to check for spark. You need to have a good battery. Does your battery have charge? If not, replace with a new one and then try to start. And then are you getting spark on the ignition system from these old cars? Are you getting spark at the distributor going in through the HT leads onto the plugs? Do you have spark? Then do you have fuel in the carburetor, as well as do you have a good battery? Then you can try to crank it. Now we're going to start. We will be switching intermittently to Swahili just to make sure that we cover everything without hesitation for all of you to understand fully, those who get it. Okay, so with me here I have Samuel. Samuel is my brother helping me out here. So Samuel will be doing things from inside and I will be out here. So let's proceed. Sami, ingia ndani. Ignition on. Fuel pump is coming on, pumping fuel. So we need to check whether we have fuel delivery. This hood here, aka bonnet, can be opened further. I have my small brother here, another Samuel, who will help me hold it up there. So just checking for fuel. If you can zoom in here. This is the fuel filter. Check closely. This is the fuel filter down here. As you can see, fuel is just filling up nicely and then coming into the carburetor. So he'll try to start it right away, then we see what happens, if it will fire right up or we need to do other gymnastics of finding sparks, finding fuel and all that. So Sammy, bigger battery terminals. Na pliers hapo ndani. Glove box. Kwa hii glove box ndani. Battery terminals seem to be loose. Just want to fasten that. This battery has been sitting with the car. It was replaced about a year ago, but never ran, so the terminals were disconnected. Trying to start again. Bigger. Yeah. Good crank. The battery still has power. Didn't pick up. Try again. Okay, Roger. Now we can see fuel is coming in. We can hear the battery has power. It's cranking up nicely. So we need to check whether we have spark. So we need to undo this HT lead here and try to see whether there is a spark coming out of it when he cranks. Sammy?
Yes.
Crank it. You will see a spark. Wacha. As you can see, we can't see any spark. There's no electricity, so there's fuel coming in, but there's no electricity to burn it. So we'll find out why we don't have spark here. So just to get to the spark issue, this car uses the mechanical distributor with the point system, contact points. So we have the distributor here, rotated by the engine crank, and then power comes from electric coil here to the distributor, then through the mechanical movement in there is distributed through the HT leads into individual cylinders via the spark plugs. So we need to find out why we don't have a spark. We'll first of all undo the distributor cap. So this is how the cap looks like. We have contacts for all the HT leads as well as the main one at the center, and this one here is the distributor rotor. So as the engine cranks, that goes around distributing electricity onto the individual leads. Yeah, so let's find out why we don't have spark. Just opened up the distributor. From what we can see in here, we have a contact point that transfers the electricity gotten from the battery into the motion to be distributed through the HT lead. So if I just play a bit with it, you should see some sparks coming out of it. The ignition is on. If we have power getting to this point, so let me just get the rotor out that way, and then the cap away, then get it from this angle. We have a spark, although not a strong one. I don't know whether you guys can see that. Yeah, there we have a spark. So we just need to find out whether the gap is the problem, adjust the gap, then find out whether we now have electricity going to our plugs. Ignition off. Zoom in here. I have to undo a screw here. This screwdriver here is not the greatest. Two, and then we can adjust the gap by moving this little bracket closer to the contact point. That way, and then lock it in place. Need to have it a bit tight so that to eliminate a lot of play which may result in losing power. Ignition on. Yeah, now that we have ignition on, we will test again whether we have a good spark by adjusting the distance. Yeah, there we have a spark. Don't know whether you guys can see it. I'll try to clean the distributor cap here on the contact point on the HT leads, just to scratch them. If we had any moisture in them, that would have resulted some corrosion. For four cylinder, one for each cylinder, one for each plug, and then the main one at the center here, coming from the ignition coil mounted right here. Yeah, so we'll put the distribution rotor back, but before then can also just scratch a bit on top, find nice contact for electricity and a nice contact for the HT leads. Put it back in the rotation position it were in. Put the cap back nicely this way. It has these locking clips in there, so try cranking. We see whether we have a spark this time round. Good. Now you can see we have a spark, so I will place it in and find out whether now we have success. So do not operate throttle, I'll operate it from here. Okay, thank you. This is the throttle here. Acceleration. Roger. Still not yet. Let me just crack up the pipe here, find out whether we are getting fuel into the distributor. Ignition off. So this is the fuel line coming from the tank to the fuel pump, and from the pump the ignition coil is a bit overheating, it's hot. Yeah, so we got fuel here. Definitely we have fuel here. Open up the air cleaner, these clips here, one more at the back. Air cleaner out. Check whether fuel is getting into the carburetor. Yeah, it sure is. Double barrel carburetor. Try again. Yeah. Just try to choke it. There we go. Result. Try again. Try to choke it once more. This is how you choke the car for cold start. Once more. Backfire. Try again. Yes. I think we might be having the actual choke on. So I'll just try to get the choke off. Yeah, that way. Try again. Try again and try the throttle from inside. Everything's flying away. Yeah, starts, runs, suspension came right up. Now we just need to work our way onto the idling and have it idle. When you leave the throttle pedal, it dies immediately. So let's work on the throttle. Yeah, so we'll get the air cleaner back on, and then I try to adjust idling from there. So you could see everything flying out, dust, all the things that had made their new home inside the engine bay coming out. These are back. Secure the fuel line. The line here will need Samuel.
Yes.
The line here will need replacing. You can see some fuel leaking out here. So I can just bring it back up. Put it back up and secure it once more. And then the idling is set at the back here. We have a screw down here that will adjust the ratio or the air ratio. You screw it in, you close the gap, and then that's how you reduce the idling. And that is the back of the carburetor when you operate the gas pedal from inside, and that's how it works, opening up the flaps in the carburetor. Yeah, so Sammy,
Yes.
piga tena. Now we want to find out now how to reset the idling and let it idle. Just a moment. Okay, try it. Let it idle. Okay, it dies right away. Start.
Yes.
Start. Okay. We'll try it once more. Yeah, there you go, guys. We've gotten it out of storage. We will do another video after we've cleaned it up. We've made sure it's running well, no stalling. Then we will have another episode of how it rides, what engine does it have, the transmission, and how it is. Thank you. Stay tuned. Subscribe as well.